Hopefully you guys will forgive me. But this update should have been done last week, but here we are. Friends, hello! Welcome back to Amethyst Craftworks. I am Samantha, and yes indeed, today's video is a Movie Marquee Challenge update that didn't happen last week, but it is happening this week. Because if you guys saw my last video, I'll link it up here. There we go, I'll link it up there for you. The Crochet Along With Me, the crochet vlog for making a rug, which was fun, I will say. It was fun, and it was a learning experience, but one, took way longer than I thought it would take, and two, man, it destroyed my hands like nothing else. And so last week, I took an extra day off. I took my usual Wednesday upload off, and I'm here with you today to try to play catch up, because I do have some things to show you for the Movie Marquee. A couple of updates, a couple of things to show you. And so I hope you are ready for it, and I hope you're having a good day as well, because you know what? Now that I am kind of back to regularly scheduled Amethyst Craftworks, I'm doing pretty good. And so yeah, let's get into the actual update here. Now, in case you are unfamiliar with the Movie Marquee Challenge, it is a collaboration between me, Heather the Crochet Witch, and Bella from Bella's Crocheted Gifts. Hello, my friends. The three of us are taking turns picking movies each month all year long. In September, in this month, it just so happens to be my pick, but each of us is picking a movie each month, and then everybody that wants to participate, which I hope is everybody that's watching. We are all taking inspiration from that movie's poster, pulling colors and inspiration from the poster itself to make a project with. Whether that's scrappy or a full-size project or individual parts of a project that you were putting together at the end of the year, like I'm doing, because I'm making granny squares for a cardigan, along with some appliques to go on said cardigan. And yeah, that's a real quick rundown here of the project. And I have got my project bag for the Movie Marquee here. It is filled with a scrap of white for sure, but it is also filled with all the colors that I picked for my squares and applique for this month in September. Put the white back in there. Which was, of course, the movie that we were all talking about this month in September is dun-dun-dun-dun, Dark Shadows. I love this movie. I kind of gushed about it last update. Not last update. My first update, my reveal, my pick for September. I gushed about how much I love this movie. And I will say, I did find on Roku and Tubi, I found the original Dark Shadows, like, drama soap opera show. And I started watching it. The episodes that I'm watching are, I'm assuming it's the first season. It's from the 60s, it's in black and white, and so far, I have not met Barnabas Collins, but I have met most of the family, I think. At least the characters that were in the Tim Burton movie, in the soap opera version. I have met most of those characters, and they're named the same, and you know, the premise is sort of the same. A governess coming to watch a weird and kooky young boy, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, in a creepy house, and it's very dramatic, and like there's a lot of like staring off to the side, you know, poignantly and delivering very dramatic lines, and it's fabulous. I am so into it. And so I'm hoping I can find the rest of the show, the rest of the series on these free, free with ads channels on my TV, because it is absolutely fabulous and I love it. But the actual movie version is what we are talking about today. And so yeah, I've got my squares to show you here. Let me pull them up and we will get started into this update. So, since I am doing 6 granny squares a month, I've got the first half of those granny squares here to show you. And I picked colors kind of willy-nilly out of the poster, except for one. I'll explain here, but I'll put the poster back up over there so you can see the color inspiration that I pulled. So most of my colors were sort of dark, jewel tone, deep, rich colors. And so for this square, I just did all the colors that I really loved out of the poster. The dark blue, the dark red, purple, the magenta, and then the orange. I loved the way it looked. And the TV show, no, not the TV show, the movie it was made in, I think, 2012, 2011, something like that. But it's set in the 1970s. And so I kind of thought this sort of color scheme also sort of went with the retro 1970s theme. Although the second one doesn't really. It's just another configuration of the dark colors in a way that I liked. I really like this color combo, this like pink, gray and black, the dark red, the dark blue. It's very broody and moody, and I liked it a lot. But then, my very last square, it is, I would say, vaguely based on Mr. Barnabas Collins himself. He is Johnny Depp. He is the character played by Johnny Depp in the movie. And he is paper white, black hair, black cloak, and a big red medallion on his neck, his chest. So, I did a vague representation of that via Granny Square. I did the reds that I had picked, black and then white. Black, white, and red. I mean, this is even my Stitch and Scream color combo. Like, you cannot go wrong with that color combo in general. But I thought this made a pretty good color representation of Barnabas Collins himself. But then, my appliques. I actually have 2 this month. Now, I did in the Star Wars month. Was that July? Oh boy. We are so far in the year now that I'm kind of forgetting what months are what. But I think it was July. That was Star Wars. And I did 2 lightsabers that, went crisscross over the granny square. They were 2 appliques that I sewed together. But I do have 2 different appliques, and I've got one of you guys to thank for one of these ideas first, okay? Or, well, one of these ideas, and then, anyway, thank you to, I will get to it, but thank you to one of you lovelies that gave me the idea for the second applique, right? Because the first one, it is a coffin, right? Now, I will put over here a screenshot from the movie itself, where it shows Barnabas's coffin that he ends up in the beginning of the movie. I don't want to spoil things necessarily for you, but he's a vampire. Let's be real. Vampires' coffins, right? And his is chained. And so I put 2 sets of crisscross chains, like in the screenshot over there, to signify that. So this was the first applique idea that I had. This was my idea. And I thought, I mean, come on this granny square with the colors that are representing Barnabas, I thought that was pretty fabulous. But then, a certain Miss Vicky, hi Vicky, Crafty Cat Mom, she left me a comment. She always guesses what my appliques are going to be. And she guessed something that I wasn't planning on making, that I didn't even think of. And then as soon as I saw her comment, I was like, why didn't I think of that? That's genius. So this other applique is thanks to her. And it is some fangs. Now, I will link you down below in the description box down below. So click show more or the little arrow, whatever it is underneath the video here. I'll link you to the Coffin pattern that I use. That was a free tutorial on YouTube. I'll also link you to Heather's granny square tutorial that I have been using all year for my granny squares. And the teeth, the vampire teeth, it's the best way to hold it up. The vampire teeth and the red lips, it kind of gets a little squish, but it's really more like that, right? Like that. Right? This was a pattern I got off of Etsy, and so again, I'll link it down there to you, for you. Link you to it. You understand, right? It'll be down there. So I got this from Etsy because this was part of a set where you made the vampy lips and then some long eyelashes, and then you put the appliques on like a pumpkin, I think. Oh dear. I lost Barnabas. There he goes. Okay. Anyway, it was made as like a set of appliques to put on like a pumpkin or a bag to make it look like a lady vampire face, right? But red lips, dark red lips, big old teeth. I mean, come on. That's not just lady vampire, right? And so my thinking is these are going to go kind of catty corner. Is that what you would call it? Kind of diagonal. Not straight up and down, but sort of tilted, right? Something like this, right? They're both going to go on here because I love this idea. I love the idea of the fangs. And now I really want to make, I don't know, Halloween costume. Something with this on it, like a mask. Put this on it. How fabulous would that be, right? But yeah, those are my appliques. They're a little wonky, as you know. Not only is it my crochet, so of course it's wonky, but they've also got their real long tails attached to them, right? And so it's a little difficult to sort of show you how they're going to look when they're flat and sewn down and all the tails are woven in and so on. But yeah, those are my appliques and my squares for the beginning part of September. I still have 3 more squares to go. And then I think we are very, very close to the end of the year here. We are inching ever closer to the end of the year. And so I think maybe this month, October, November, and so on, I think I'm going to start assembling things as I can. I did the first front panel, which is in my intro and so on, after the first 6 months of the year. But now, as I've been working on my test trial run cardigan of granny squares, I have learned that, yeah, to save myself sanity, I need to sort of pick up the pace when it comes to assembly here. So I think once I have all of September squares done, I may start assembling the back piece as well as the sleeves. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, whether it's going to be like completely random and just jumbled, you know, shuffle all the squares together and just pick, and how they fall is how they fall. Or if I'm going to do like the first 6 months of the year, make the sleeve out of those squares. Does that make sense? And then the second half of the year, make the sleeve on that side out of these squares, like the squares that have been made in the latter half of the year. Does that make sense? I'm not really sure, or if I'm going to do that in the back panel. And so to save myself the sanity at the end of the year, I think I'm going to start doing that. Maybe this month, once I get the other 3 squares done, I may start assembling things, because anything to save myself some sanity at the end of the year is very, very much appreciated, right? But yeah, that is my update. I hope you are having a fun time with the Movie Marquee. I hope you like my movie pick. I hope you have picked lovely, dark, mysterious, brooding, jewel tone colors to work with in September. And yeah, I will catch you next time. Thank you for leaving me a like and a subscribe and a comment. You know the drill there. And until I've got another update for you, I will just let you go. Take care. Goodbye.